You wouldn't download a car, would you?
Actually, I would. I've been playing Need for Speed Unbound recently, and it was a Nissan 1998 something. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Safe State Podcast. Today, we are talking about physical media. My my right arm's out of frame. We're talking about physical media. There we go.
It surrounds us.
It surrounds us everywhere, except there's really no physical media behind us,
You're right
honestly.
there. There's Jack Nicholas.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah.
can't get that game digitally. I mean, I'm sure you could
I
find
think
it.
it's
but,
on
like,
NSO, actually.
What?
There's a lot of
No.
licensed games on there.
There's no way that Jack Nicholas.
I know the
is
Super
on it.
Nintendo one is on NSO because I've played it on the Super
That's
Nintendo
so
app.
funny.
Maybe not the classic greatest 18 holes of championship golf. Maybe that's not on there. But that, still gonna have to do it
We
eventually.
can't have greatness quite yet.
No, we can't.
gotta
No,
wait.
we can't have the greatest. Not greatness. The greatest. It's very specific.
Such a specific.
It is. But yeah, we're talking about physical media today
All things physical and all things media.
and why we hate game key cards, because that's the hip thing to do. No, because it's actually fairly topical because we just had Pokopia came out. And we're not going to talk about that today. Great game though.
It looks interesting as far as Pokemon Animal Crossing goes.
I have you seen? Okay, we are going to talk about it for a bit. Have you seen how well reviewed the game has gotten?
Yeah.
Like it's like the highest rated Pokemon game.
I didn't see that. I knew people liked it.
It has like I think it's now down to 88 or 89, but it was at like 90, 91 on Metacritic, like consistently.
Wow.
And it's people. A lot of people are
For
saying
good reason.
yeah, no, like I've seen a lot of people say like this might end up being one of those games that gets
Branches.
well, it holds on all the way to the Game Awards.
Mm.
It's been that popular, not Game of the Year contender, but like okay, it might actually just get nominated for a few things just because of how big it is, and it's probably good. It might be the Switch 2's evergreen title.
That would be interesting.
Honestly, I'm planning on making a video here. It's probably out by the time this episode comes out, but I want to do a kind of video talk about like Pokopia and how I feel like it's really the Switch 2's killer title that it's been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had Bonanza, we had World, and we've had some other good games come out since then. But like I see a lot of the bigger hits are like Prime 4, Legends ZA, are also on the original Switch.
Mm-hmm.
This game is Switch 2 exclusive, and I will say it's one of those games when I first saw, I'm like, does this really have to be Switch 2 exclusive?
It's more just like
Well,
the fun of.
I will say if you play it, it actually uses the mouse mode in some really cool ways. Is it necessary? No, but I wouldn't say as far as the Wii U gamepad where you have to like really change it,
Right.
but you would have to change the game a good bit to make it work on Switch 1 fully in terms of controls, and it doesn't feel forced. One of my big points of that game is this should have been the game they pushed to show how cool mouse controls could be outside of just like using it like a RTS.
Right.
It uses it in a non-traditional way, but feels really good to use.
Well, I think this goes back to the theory that Game Freak, because I assume this game was developed by Game Freak.
Nope, Koei Tecmo.
Oh, and then never mind.
Game Freak co-developed it, but I'm assuming it's in the sense that they oversaw it, and because Koei Tecmo made the Dragon Quest Builders games,
Yeah.
and these are fairly different from those games, but you can
Kind of
feel
like the
the
bones of the series.
it
I can
has
feel.
similar DNA, similar to like the difference between like Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors. That's
Right.
like similar, but a little different.
Well, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because my point is invalidated because I forgot that Game Freak doesn't. They've been busy work. Well, maybe it is still valid. I don't want to talk too
Go
much
for it.
about the presents, but I was just gonna say like, hey guys, maybe Game Freak can make good games. Which actually,
Yeah.
with
Beast
how
of League Incarnation.
with how Gen 10 is looking right
Yeah.
now. But also that,
No,
like,
you wanna know
honestly, that
a good Game Freak game that no one remembers is still on the 3DS. Homo Knight.
oh,
Yeah, exactly. It was a download only game on the 3DS eShop, and it was a rhythm game based
Oh
platformer.
man, that's not physical media.
And well, if you give me a moment, that's my point here. But it's a rhythm based platformer. And you played around. You played as Homo Knight, and it was a really cool game. And it had a lot of music composed by a lot of the Pokemon composers. But it was a fully original IP.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. But unfortunately, because it was locked to the eShop, there was no way to play that game. There's no physical copy, no nothing. If obviously you can still download it if you bought it, that's still available, but you can't purchase it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of brings you to think with this with physical media, and more. I think that's like the obvious importance of it is just that preservation factor of it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can go out and buy let's just say like that game or Sonic and the Secret Wings. You can only play Sonic and the Secret Wings on the Wii with a physical copy. If they there's no Wii release of that.
Right.
And luckily, if you go for probably like Gen 7 back, most pretty much all games are preserved
Mm-hmm.
in some way physical media. You might have to pay like $4,000 for Clown Kid on the NES, but it's Clown Kid.
But there's still a way to
like
play
you can
it.
still play it.
Someone who owns that game could easily like, plug it in to whatever system they need to and get the ROM and
Yeah.
put it online. Which actually, a quick side tangent. If you want another reason to hate AI, there was a big, I don't know if you heard about this, a big like game like database that was had many different games. I don't think like just Nintendo or anything, just like a lot of like older games under their database, but they're shutting down like at the end of the month or something because the demand for like RAM and like other computer and server components is just way too high and they're shutting down.
Oh, okay.
So and I don't know any specifics. I could probably find more if I looked at it for more than a second. It was just something that popped up and I was like, "Oh, that's sad."
All right.
But yeah.
But no. So that's for in terms of me, like I have a game collection of over 700 physical games.
Mhm.
And to me, the big thing is the preservation, the fact that I can buy Space Chimps on the Wii. I can play it. Maybe a better game than Wii, like Dragon Quest Swords, another game that has been re-released. But I can play that game without having to worry about, downloading it or whatever. But then you move to more modern stuff, even take out stuff like Homo Knight or other download only games. Even just taking that out of the discussion, let's talk about
What's like PT?
well that's a special situation
It is a very
because
unique situation.
that was a demo,
Yeah, but
but it's still
it was still something released publicly that
it
we
echoes the
just have
same.
no ability to get to anymore unless you're lucky enough to have it on your consoles.
It echoes the same things of a lot of these download only games that get taken off the stores, like DuckTales Remastered is another example.
Yeah.
There's a ton of examples, but you go nowadays we have stuff like the game key cards on Switch, stuff where pretty much you have this physical copy, but you put it in and it downloads it off the internet.
Mhm.
And this is something that PlayStation and Xbox have been doing for the last two systems, for Sorted Games 3 systems, and that's where to me gets a little more messy because all of a sudden you're running into this thing of okay, we have our physical copy, but nothing's actually on the cartridge or nothing's on the disc. It's a 1 MB string of code that says here's your key to download the game.
You know what I think? I think Nintendo probably would have gotten a lot less flack, but also just would have made more sense if they just didn't include a cartridge. I don't know why they decided just because with something like Fortnite in like the previous generation where it was like, oh, it has a physical release in stores, but it's not like a physical
Well, it was the
game.
code in the box.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have preferred that ultimately over, oh, here's a cartridge that you have that doesn't do anything except tell your device you can download a game.
See, I'm on the other end of that because I feel like with like taking like the PS5 for example. Actually, the game I was talking about, Need for Speed Unbound,
Mm-hmm.
comes with a physical copy, has a disc, all that. You have to download that whole game.
Mm.
That game is not on the disc, and there's nowhere on there There's nothing that says game key or no maybe
No
game
disclosure of
game
that.
key disc or nothing
Mhm.
like that. Now, if you go in the back, where there's like 20 different boxes of all the different features, there's a small little box that does
Mm.
say 45 gigabyte download required. But also a game like Sonic Racing Cross Worlds has something similar that says like 500 megabytes, and it's like the day one patch. It's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But that full
But
game is still
but
on there.
yeah,
Well, on Need for Speed, it's
45
not.
gigabytes is hopefully not a day one
No,
patch.
that it's literally the whole game.
Yeah.
You cannot something because I knew we were going to be doing this episode. Just connected my PS5 from the internet and tried to play the game, and it said down. It would not let me play it. It wouldn't let me boot it up, and that's the thing. What's like the reason? One of the things why I prefer all games to have truly physical on the cartridge on the disc. Yes, but I do appreciate Nintendo's full transparency of hey, just so you know, this is a game key card. Yes, you have the full game. Yes, you could sell and trade in whatever. Because that's the thing. If you wanted
Mhm.
to, the thing I do like about game key cards, you can still sell that to
Right,
someone.
because ideally it does the same thing for every Switch.
Yeah,
Like, it will just say, oh, hey, you have a GameCube card, you can download this
yeah.
now.
Like I have to put the cartridge in my Switch to play it. I cannot now that it's downloaded on there. I can't. I have if I take the cartridge out, I can't play Pokopia right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
because that's the point of it's your key. It's kind of like a physical passkey on a computer, pretty much.
That's interesting.
But because that's kind of the appeal of it, you could still go and say for whatever reason I want to give you Pokopia,
Right.
I could give you that copy, um, after you buy a Switch 2, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and you could play on your Switch 2,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just the game's not actually on the cartridge,
Right.
but it's outside of
It's
that.
just like a password, basically.
Yeah, but it's all fully treated like that. So if I want to resell for I don't know, let's say $50 or return to the GameStop or whatever, I can get my money. No, you can't play the game anymore, but it's fully still treated like a physical copy.
Right.
And I kind of, part of again, do I wish it was all on the cartridge? Yes, but I kind of like the transparency and more just giving you more options. Because if you do want to just straight up download the game, you can just straight up download the game. I've seen a lot of people, they have.
Honestly, I think I would prefer that because it's just like, I like the ability to have, okay, if a game is going to be downloaded, I like that. I like having it downloaded to my console if I have the space.
Yeah.
But also, like, okay, then I can have another game. So if I'm on a trip, like, I don't have. That's the one drawback I can see, especially for something like Pokopia. I mean, most people have, like, their their little case that you can hold, like, oh, so many games.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like that would be more confusing for someone who's not, like, as in it to be like, oh, this game isn't actually on the cartridge. I have to download it, so it should probably be on here. And then like not bring it, and then like, oh,
Hmm.
but it's downloaded. Like, I can honestly admit I didn't know fully how the game key
To me,
cards worked
I
until
feel
this
like
very moment.
it works exactly how because like Need for Speed, it's the same thing. When it's down on the console, but I have to put that disc in to play it.
Right.
So it's something that what I think it really is. Most people just don't the your basic consumers don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They just know okay for whatever reason needs to download this update or whatever. Because it doesn't say you're downloading games. It says you're downloading the update.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing on Switch. It doesn't say you're downloading the game. On the physical copy, it does explain it to you.
Yeah.
But by that one, then you get to make a decision, purchase it, whatever. But I feel like they do this so there's not a lot of confusion. Your average consumers is going to go like, oh, okay, yeah, I just put the cartridge in whenever I want to play Pokopia. They don't think, oh, my game's actually on the console, but it's because most people aren't going to sit there and be like, read all that text about the game key card. They're just going to read the big text that says game key card download required.
Yeah.
They're not going to read all the fine print underneath that. Someone like me and you do because
Mhm.
you know we're nerds and we want to know how it all works and whatnot. And you know, again, like main reason why I bought a physical copy, I like the idea of one, I like my plastic boxes, but two, like I said, if I want to sell it one day, say like I have my phone Pokopia, I don't want to play it again,
Mm-hmm.
I could sell that physical copy for how much it's going in the future.
Right.
And the one thing about digital games, you can't once that's there, it's there. You can't sell it, you can't
That is
return
the
it, you can't
nice.
do nothing with it.
That is the nice thing. You still, I guess it is something that you hold a value, assuming Nintendo isn't like, oh, game key cards don't work anymore. Which I
Yeah.
don't imagine they would.
I don't
but
think they would. That would be. I don't. I think that would be considered illegal
yeah.
because there is stuff where they can with on certain consoles where they could take away digital games,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to refund you.
Yeah.
And they just refund you through your digital. That's all digital.
Mm-hmm.
what are they going to do? Come up to my house
Yeah, they
and
can.
they're not
It's
going to go up
not.
to everybody's house and take away the physical copies of Pokopia, a game that is out of stock in every online retail storefront right now.
That is really
Like,
interesting then, because I do question the motivation of this from Poke or from Nintendo, because it's like, okay, with online games, whether you like Nintendo or not, like just from the standpoint of, okay, they have the control in that situation. They can say, okay, here's the games we want you to play. We can decide how long we want you to play them. Mario 35 situation. After Mario
yeah.
35's done, no more, you can't download it anymore, whatever.
Hmm.
Like, they have absolute control in that situation. But with something like this, they're giving up their control, but also still having it, like, it's kind of like split because you can only download it while the game is in there. It's not like a traditional download game, but I still have the card and I can still trade
Yeah.
something that is of value. And then they can't really say, "Oh, your password doesn't work
Yeah.
anymore," because it's
I
illegal.
think it's a rare moment of just them being more consumer friendly about it.
Yeah,
Like, just to be on it, like you have that, you have stuff like
I do question the motivation though at that point, because is it really, because my thought
so,
is it really that much more cheaper to produce,
yes.
well, compared to like just strictly download only? Like, why
Um,
download a thing just for the password and not just put the whole game on it?
yeah.
Because I don't imagine
So
that would cost that much
compare
more.
the average Switch 2 cartridge, and so when the Switch 2 launched, there was only the 64 gigabyte card available.
Mm-hmm.
According to the resources we have and insider knowledge, those cartridges cost about $20 per card,
Mm.
roughly. The game key cards cost about $1 to
Hmm.
produce. Now on the Switch One, you have 6 gigabyte, 12 gig. They have multiple options of cartridges, all the way up
Mm-hmm.
to I think 64. I think that or 128 maybe.
Yeah.
And obviously the more it is, the more expensive it is. And rumor has it that Nintendo has started producing cheaper ones that don't care as much, and it's why a game like Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, that's only 10 gigabytes, people look at that like, why is that a game key card? Well, they're not going to spend $20 for something that could fit Cyberpunk 2077.
Right.
They would want to buy like the 6 gigabyte card or whatever smaller one it would be. I think 16 was it's 8 16 32. That's what it is. It's like the 8 or 16 gigabyte one that may only be like $5. Then it's more worth for them, but they still want to have that retail presence. Because especially for Nintendo consoles, I might have this number wrong, but I believe it's between 60 to 70% of their software sales are physical.
Yeah.
So it's still the majority of the money, and that's for both third party and first party. So they know that's worth it for them to
Mm-hmm.
put it out there, even if it means put on the game key card. It's probably still selling a ton of units.
Yeah.
Um,
That's interesting that,
but it
because
comes down to cost pretty much.
yeah, I never would have thought the cot, because like I guess it's the computer components at that
Well,
point, the space.
it's because they use I forget the type of SD cards. Well, not SD cards. Whatever the Switch 2 cartridges actually are, they're not
Mm-hmm.
SD cards, but those it's like a oh my gosh. The ones that they use for the Switch 2 are pretty much like brand new technology. Like
Mm.
brand new, like super high
Right.
end, really good ones.
But
But because
that's
of that, they're a lot more expensive. But the reason why they did that is they wanted to be as close to down as playing a game off the SSD as possible. And it
right.
is I will say it is extremely close. Still not, you're never gonna have it be perfectly there,
Mm-hmm.
but it is faster than any other console for loading off a physical thing,
Yeah.
which is very impressive. I think it's like I saw someone do like a loading test between Mario Kart World physically and digitally, and it's like point 0.2 like 200 milliseconds
Mm-hmm.
difference, which is insane. Like that will like you compare that I believe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's like a 2 or 3 seconds. At the end of the day, it's not that much time, but it's just more to show the power of it,
Right.
and that's pretty insane to look at. But ultimately, the game key cards, I think the biggest fault for me with Nintendo is not the game key cards themselves, is the fact that they only had the 65 gigabyte cartridge available at launch.
That's what because my thought now is, okay, are game key cards gonna obsolete themselves? Because maybe the I feel like it's not gonna be necessarily. So my thought is, if I'm a developer, I think knowing knowing what people, maybe the average consumer isn't going to care if a game is fully on a cartridge or not.
Yeah.
But like if I'm catering towards a much more like, say I'm like Capcom and I'm catering towards like Resident Evil, or like
Mhm.
fans that are much more established and would care about those sort of
Yeah.
things. My thought is it would be much more worth it once Nintendo does release, if they release like the lower space like versions. Like say I have an 8 gigabyte game
Yeah.
that I want to actually release. My thought would just be, okay, do that. Don't mess with game key cards. But I guess it just goes back to how dramatically the price is.
I don't think game key cards are really being affecting its sales that much because we see with Pokopia, all these online retailers are sold out, including Nintendo's official store page. You cannot buy a physical copy of Pokopia right now. Even in what was I? Was at Walmart? I went into Walmart yesterday, and I specifically just wanted to see, is there any physical copies of Pokopia? They were sold out, and I went to an attendant and asked them like, hey, like how many copies y'all get? And they're like, oh, we got about 3 cases, and each case had about 20 copies.
Hmm.
This one Walmart sold 60 copies of Pokopia within the first week, and they're sold out. Which is like, again,
That
that's
could also
one
be the
Walmart.
Pokemon effect.
Yeah, but still to my point, I don't think game people. The big thing I see with game key cards is wait. If there's a game people want that bad, they're not going to care.
Oh no.
And we've even seen that with like Final Fantasy VII remake was a game key card, and that's
Well,
another game that sold really well on Switch too.
it's the reason I'm sure I've been hearing it lots from my friends of like, oh, I'm gonna download Fire Red Leaf Green. Despite the fact that it's very easy to get your hands on that game, it's so much easier in the mind of a consumer to like, oh, pay $20, have it on my Switch, boom.
Yeah.
That's
That
a simple thing.
that's as someone who is more into like I guess more of a hardcore gamer. I share that mindset of like, could I emulate it? Yeah, I don't really want to, and not from like some moral standpoint. It's just it's easier to spend
Yeah,
$20 or to get a physical copy. My physical
and
copy somewhere back there.
I think that comes back to my brain in that for me easier is like directly tied to money. Like I'm cheap basically. Like
Mm,
if I can get away with doing something for less but also still having like the same experience for like, because for
yeah,
me, whether I'm playing Fire Red Leaf Green on a Game Boy Advance, on my Switch, or on my computer, it's pretty much the same experience for me.
yeah.
I don't deny that it's a different experience for probably
Mm,
most people, but for me, I'm like, yeah, I would rather take like 5 minutes to find a spot to
yeah.
emulate it rather than spend $20 to get it.
Well, and to that point, like I haven't bought it on Switch because I own a Game Boy Advance cartridge.
Right. For you, it's the
And
easiest because you
me,
already have it.
I'm just like
You don't have a strong
I
desire.
don't have any strong desire to play it. If it's not going to go on sale. If it went on sale for $10, I would buy it. Just
Yeah.
being honest,
Well,
I
that's
feel
because
like it's
it's
worth
like
$10.
it's all your games on one system at that point.
Yeah, well that's what I really like about the Switch. The Switch 2 now having GameCube. Eventually, they're probably going to add DS and Wii. You
Some
know,
sort of thing like
and
that.
then we pretty much already have the whole Wii U catalog on there. And it's
You
like,
already have the whole Wii U
I already
catalog.
have the whole Wii U catalog outside of 2 games. But even then, I can pretty much play almost every game on the Switch 2. Is why the only other Nintendo console I have hooked up right now is my GameCube and my 64. And really, honestly, I only really have them hooked up for a small handful of games.
hmm
I can see my GameCube soon coming back on this shelf in a couple years once they really beef out the GameCube NSO app.
Yeah.
Because I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm like, I wanted to play Luigi's Mansion a couple weeks ago, and I was going to load up my GameCube. I'm like, wait a minute, it's on NSO now, and I booted up on my Switch because that's just. And my GameCube's fully hooked up. All I have to do is hit the power button and plug in the controller.
hmm
But it's just nice to have one hub because I played that, and then I played some Mario Strikers on that app, and then I played some other games all on the Switch. It's all in one place. That's just convenient,
hmm
and I think that's another thing that comes down to is just the convenience of it. Um, but
But yeah, physical media.
so something because you probably know more about this than I do, um, about with physical media and music. 'Cause
Yes.
I feel like there's not the same argument as with games because with me, I don't know there's any songs you can't get easily via and oh my gosh, I don't think there's any games you cannot easily find. I keep fumbling the words. I do not think there's any music that you cannot easily find on one of these streaming apps, or at least on YouTube.
So it's interesting because for the grand majority of like most of the like big record labels like Warner Music or Universal Music Group
Yeah.
or Columbia, which is Sony, like all the big ones, yeah, you can find them. And most just with how the industry is with for music, most people kind of at least in this new generation is a little bit more weird because now you have YouTube and you just put your music out on YouTube and make money that way. So
Yeah.
like people are signing less, but it's not keeping them completely. But
They're still releasing albums like via YouTube Music or
yeah,
SoundCloud.
so for the grand majority of them, yes, and you can find them fairly easily. But I think with I think music, not that it's strictly an older audience, but I think because it like strays to an older audience sometimes, especially I mean if you listen to older music,
Yeah.
I think there is that collector sense. Like for me, I'm someone who likes to collect a bunch of vinyls. I
Yeah.
like to collect CDs. I've even collected a few cassettes. But I think that's more from the standpoint of it's really cool.
Novelty.
Yeah, it's more the novelty of it, but it's also like, for whatever reason should Spotify, should Amazon Music, should Apple Music, should they just
Gosh, I
not
forgot
like
Amazon has a music app.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I know that wasn't your point. I just like, whoa.
Should some of them like I don't know for whatever reason lose their rights to play the
Yeah.
music, and then you're just kind of stuck not being able to listen to it. It's nice to have something that you can use a lot. I think it comes to at least with the music community, I think people are tired of like phones basically. And I'm not completely anti-phone, but I think there is something about playing, it's like it's that same feeling of sitting down on the couch, plugging in your GameCube, plugging in the controller,
Yeah.
putting the game in, letting it load up. Like, that is a bespoke experience for gamers, for lack of a
Mm.
better term. And it's like, yes, there's so many more easier ways to play Luigi's Mansion, but there is something about loading it up for that first time and
Yeah.
sitting and playing it on, like, as intended.
But that's when it comes to music, that's how I see it as the novelty, the collector mindset, but I don't feel like there's the preservation aspect of
There
it.
is.
Okay.
And I was about to get into
Okay,
it.
go for it. All right,
But
go for it.
and so what you do have with streaming services and things like that is not all artists are super down for it. It's a very small minority of music creators, but to their credit, a lot of music creators are just like, no, I don't want to put my music on streaming services because one, I don't really get paid the same way for my music that way. Because like
Mhm.
Spotify, I believe like you stream a song once, I think a creator gets like 3 cents.
Yeah.
So it's like you're really only
That's a
making
lot more than I
money.
thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah, and that number not might not even be correct. That's just like a thing. That's a number I've heard thrown around before, but
Yeah.
it may or may not be as accurate. But it's more just like you it takes a lot to really make a lot of money, but it's also just streaming services, no matter the convenience, however you feel about them, it's still, they don't always do great things. I mean, Amazon and whatever your thoughts on Google. I know
Mhm.
people have mixed feelings on every big company, but it is still a big company that's holding all the rights of my music.
Yeah.
And especially certain bands that are just like, no, this is like against everything we stand for, at least like in terms of like big corporations
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. You can have that clash of like, okay, I don't want to release my music on this big platform, but I still want people to be able to hear it. Um, and so it's an interesting dilemma. Actually, you know about this. I have a second channel, which is purely dedicated to re-uploading music from the artist Tetsuro Yamashita, who is one of those rare creators who does not really want their music on streaming platforms. And so when you talk about preservation, there's no like a fish. So he does have a YouTube channel. And he has been releasing music more often. I don't know if that's a sign of like he's just gonna release everything soon, or if it's just like no, I'm gonna do it every once in a while, whatever I feel like. But there are certain albums where unless you buy it physically, you can't listen to it officially in any way. Like you have to be in Japan and buy a CD or a vinyl, or just be lucky when you can get a like an online release, like you can get on Amazon or
Yeah.
whatever. So, but that's very small. That doesn't happen as much as like say like games where I feel like that's not common, but the least bit more common than it is with music.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I think it doesn't help that like music tends to be more. There's a lot more independent music makers,
Right.
and we'll just say in the last 50 years than there are for video games.
Yeah.
So a lot of your games are looking at from pretty much the 2010s back.
Mm-hmm.
It's all held by some corporation,
Yeah.
and that's I think also the difference there, where it's like I have a lot of respect for people like the guy you were talking about, like I just want to release it on CD or vinyl,
Yeah.
whatever, but he has the option to put it online.
Oh no, he could.
And if he doesn't, that's fine.
But it's it's artistic.
If we're talking
choice.
about like for the longest time, the Scott Pilgrim game that was delisted for like a decade, before all like
we
four
did get
companies.
it back. It's the same sort of thing. Like those companies could decide to release it. It's just
but
they just don't want to.
that's the thing. It's less one person who just needs to hit a button. It's contracts and all of this.
Yeah, but the fact that we did get it eventually tells me it's not impossible.
No.
It's just I would be much more to give a person grace if it's like, I am taking a personal stand against this. I don't want to release it. Whereas you have a company that doesn't want to release it for like the money or the bureaucracy of it. Like that is more okay. That seems a bit more silly to me.
But even in the case of like what you brought up with that guy, is it readily available anytime? No, but he still released it in some form.
Not all of his music, and it's very like you might get a song like.
I thought you said he did like CDs.
No, he does. Yeah, CDs.
So what you get,
but that's not readily available anytime.
Sorry, I meant to say not readily available.
Oh, okay.
Not readily available, but it's still available. It's not like globally.
Well, it's like buying used games. Like
I thought, does he not do new music?
He does do new music.
That's what I'm saying.
He might. So just to clarify, he might release an album.
Yeah.
And it might release for a little bit, but after like, I don't think he does like, okay, this is my first album. It's constantly released and available for the public. Like, it's kind of like, I don't think it's exactly like the whole Disney Vault thing, but it's like he's only gonna release his new album for a certain amount of time, or like release so many like amount of it. At least from what I can measure, I think he releases enough to where anyone who would want one could be able to get one. But it's like, I know for a fact you can't buy any like, at least definitely not officially, unless you're going through a reseller. But you can't get like any album of his, like just like go online, find it somewhere and buy it. You have to
go to Japan and
find it pretty much.
Yeah, because he's more like local in that area.
Yes,
and that makes sense. But I guess at least in my perspective, I put a lot, and granted, I'm more into this the gaming culture, so that might be part of it too. But I see a lot more. I see a lot more stuff for TV shows and movies and video games and like news outlets and stuff. I don't hear a lot of stuff about like lost media music, or like, not saying it's not there, and more just seems like it's not as prevalent.
Yeah, it's definitely
as
not
it is, and it seems a lot more. It's more choices by an individual, less. We have these big companies that are holding it back because they know if they hold it back, that Disney Vault effect. If we hold it back for 5 years and then release it,
then it'll make more money.
It'll make more money. Well, in case of like where it's more of a personal thing, it's like, well, I'm more just, this is the way I want to do it, it's the way I want to distribute it. Maybe I'm done with it. Maybe I want to be a limited release,
right?
Etc.
Well, it also helps too that music is much more respected as a art form than I would say video games are.
Yeah.
In terms of like people looking to preserve things, because it's very easy to preserve music. It's more, and it's also easy to preserve games, but music is a much more
Well,
socially acceptable is a weird thing to say, but it's like people get music easier than they get games. At least
yeah.
older generations do. So it's you don't have to convince someone like this is worth
Well,
saving.
also with music, it's this technologically. I want to emphasize this technologically.
Hmm.
It's very simple.
Yeah, no, it's extremely
So
simple.
like, it's very easy to get music either recorded with a really nice microphone. If you have the file, you
Yeah,
can
just
easily
digitally upload a
transport into an
file.
MP3 or
Yeah.
whatever, a WAV file. With video games, even if I do, you could download the ROM of, let's just say, Sonic Racing Crossworlds on the PS5. You could
Hmm.
get that ROM and put it down somewhere,
Yeah.
but you're not going to be able to play it.
No.
There's not a way that I don't, as far as I know, there's not a way to emulate PS5 games. If there is, it's really crappy. I can tell you.
Hmm.
So, like, yes, do you have the copy? Ooh, excuse me. But you're going to be waiting probably about 10 years till you can actually play it,
Right.
official or otherwise. Or, want to play official, you buy a PS5 and a copy of Sonic Crossworlds. Um, but and it's a similar thing for shows and movies. I say it's like maybe a little bit more than like music, but not that much higher. Well,
Hmm.
it's just we have our video format. It's MP4. If not
Right.
MP4, there's one or two other ones people use, but like easily convertible to MP4 and back. That makes it easy to watch Gilligan's Island season 2. It's
Gilligan's.
probably on archive.org, honestly.
No, I'm
Those
sure
older
it
shows,
is.
because I think those are royalty free at this point. But that's and then going to TV shows and movies or physical media. My big thing is less preservation and like preservation might not be able to find it. You can pretty much find almost any show and movie on one of these apps, even if it's something like there's a shocking amount of them on Roku TV. I found
Hmm.
out recently, but Roku TV, maybe there are more premium ones like Disney Plus, Netflix, etc. But is this the thing of like, is this nice to? Yes, I might pay like $70 for the Steven Universe Complete Series box set.
But then you have it.
I have it forever. The disc squad is going to have it till after I die, so who cares? And you know, it's either that or I could pay for a subscription service to, let's just say, Hulu,
Hmm.
because for some reason that's where that whole series is at, not on HBO. But that's like, I'm gonna say $12 a month. I don't know how much it is off the top of my head. Everyone's gonna say $12 a month. Or if you do the Disney Plus collection, it's like $16 a month.
Hmm.
But okay, by the end of the year, you're paying nearly $200, and granted, you have access to all that stuff. But me personally,
Do you watch all of it on Hulu?
no. And it's my things like I bounce between streaming services, like like on HBO, I really like the Harley Quinn show. That
Hmm.
gets like at this point they're doing pretty much yearly seasons because it's like at season 6 now or something.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it for the 1 month. I watch the season. Maybe I'll pay for a second month. That maybe I see one or two other shows. I'm like, oh, that seems cool. But I'm not the type of person who's just like, I'm gonna keep paying for this. And if it's a show I really like, I will pay that little bit extra premium to just have that physical copy and watch it.
It's kind of like a buffet. Streaming services that
I
are.
hate buffets.
Well,
I
so
know what you're getting at, but I just want to say that here. I hate buffets.
it's you have any type of food you could ever want.
Yeah.
The quality of that food is questionable to a certain degree
Mm-hmm.
because they have to be able to mass produce a whole tons of food. And the really fine foods like the cuts of steak, you can probably get like once or twice, but you can't get as much of that as you want. But
Mm,
are you going to sit there and eat every single food available to you
yeah,
at the buffet?
exactly.
Whereas are you going to find your certain selected foods, get it, and maybe not pay your money's worth as compared to if you were at home and you said, "Oh, I'm going to get some steak, I'm going to get some bread, I'm going to do this and have a nice meal and be happy."
Yeah.
So it's like you have that aspect when it comes to streaming services of, if you watch every single Disney movie every month, then keep that Disney Plus subscription because you get your youth
Yeah.
out of it. But if you're like me and you might watch, you know, you watch a Pixar Disney movie like every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more like, okay, just have all the Pixar movies. Like there's not that many.
Yeah.
Like there's a good amount, but there's not
It's like 30.
yeah, it's not unreasonable to have all of
And
them.
like how if you're someone who will you're probably a super fan if you want a physical copy of all of them.
Right.
Most people probably just want like, oh, like I really like Cars.
Or Toy
I
Story.
just want
Yeah,
the
car.
Cars trilogy. And you could probably, I'll say you probably buy a DVD or Blu-ray for each is for $10.
Yeah.
They probably have a cheaper collection of them for like $20 you get at Walmart. I know like the Sonic movies, they have like right before the Thor movie came out, they released a pack of the Force Second and Knuckles Show for like $15.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually ended up returning my copy of the Knuckles Show that I bought physically because it was like $20. And I bought that 3-pack that was like $15-$20, and I have all the movies. More recently, I actually picked up the Thor movie on Blu-ray, and that was
Yeah.
only like $15. That's the same price I paid for my movie ticket.
I
And it was a
am.
difference between watching on TV and the movie. That's a whole different thing. But I can now watch as many times as I want. I can hear Ben Schwartz and Jeff Fowler talk over the movie, and it's really funny because every time they say anything that's not any IP that's not Sonic, it has a trademark next to it in the subtitles. It's funny because at one point they talk about Shadow the Hedgehog the game, and some reason these have the trade. Like I get why it's all because it's a Paramount release, not a Sega release,
Mhm.
but it's just funny them talk about Shadow the Hedgehog the game, and it has the trademark.
It's
But
yeah.
but still, I have that. I can do that. I can watch the movie on its own whenever I want. I could go back to the thing with the game key cards. If I don't want to have that physical copy, I could sell it for like $10-$20. And I'll go on Macari, sell for $15 and let someone else enjoy it. I
Mhm.
get my money back. That's honestly my big thing with physical media.
Yeah.
If I don't want to play Space Chimps anymore, I can sell it and I can move on
I
with my
can
life.
get rid of Space Chimps if I wanted to.
I can. Well, if I bought it digitally, it's stuck there. It's stuck is a taint on my Switch 2 forever. And that, I just can't live with that. I just can't.
Yeah. It's and I don't know. I don't think I something that I've noticed more recently, and this isn't like exclusively like all physical media stuff, but I think with like our current generation, we're kind of like, you know, I think we've talked about it before. We were at one of our favorite game stores, and they have just started selling VHSs.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh well, we should buy Hunchback of Notre Dame on VHS.
We
'cause
did.
that would be funny. And then we got it and we watched it, and
And
it
it
was
was
like,
like $8, I think.
yeah. And I would still say that's definitely a novelty at this point, a heavy one, because it's like,
But even, I don't know how much it is to rent that on, because I'm sure you can rent on YouTube,
yeah,
or in Amazon, these other video services. It's probably, I'll bet it's probably $6 to rent it.
mm-hmm.
So, they rent it for one time. I'm pretty much paying the same price to buy that VHS tape. Even if it say the VHS tape breaks after that one watch, okay.
It's at
It's
that
the same
point,
price
it's
of
like a
renting
rental.
it
Yeah.
for a lot of these movies and
But
shows.
we had the fun experience of like loading, like just putting like, I don't know. I think that's more bespoke for
There's
like
the novelty of it.
it's the novelty for us because that's not like that wasn't the best technology when we were growing up. Like we had like DVD players or whatever.
See,
like
For me, it was nostalgic
yeah,
because the VHS player we
It's-
use,
it-
it's the
it's a-
same one I grew up with,
right.
and I didn't. My family was always like 5 years behind.
Same. Like
So like I didn't. My first DVD was Inside Out.
dang, that's actually crazy.
And that was from Redbox. Sorry, that was my first. Actually, it's my first Blu-ray. And the only reason why we used it was because we found out that my PS3 was actually also a Blu-ray player,
Oh,
and I got a PS3 like the year the PS4 came out.
Hmm.
So it was like $100 or $200, well, however much my PS3 was. But
Right.
I got like a very late PS3. But we go. It's also a Blu-ray player, and we went to Inside Out, and that was one of my first times using a disc
Mhm.
that I remember. That's like what 2016 probably, because I think the film was 2015.
Yeah.
So that was probably 2016 by the time I got the red box. So for me, the VHS was very nostalgic.
Mhm.
Of just like, whoa, this is like it's like my childhood.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, we had a huge, probably a bookshelf about this big as the one behind me,
Just like
filled with
VHSs.
VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And we got rid of them. I'm really upset now
Yeah.
that we did. But we didn't have anything like we didn't have like the Black Diamond Disney releases. We didn't have anything like that. But it was still
Mhm.
just like I don't know, I had Roly Oly Poly. I loved that show as a kid. I had the movie on VHS. That movie is really dark.
Oh.
It was literally they were like it's about a black hole coming to the planet. Not a sentient black hole. The main
Just
villain
black
just
hole.
he freaking towing trucks a black hole to the planet, and it just slowly starts sucking up all of Roly Oly Poly's family. and it's like kind of trash. Like it's really sad. Like there's one point where like the planet is barren, and it's just like this is kind of dark for a kids movie.
It's like the second to last episode of Kirby right back at you. DDD is on the swing set that he built, and it's like all
Oh,
dark.
you're talking about episode 75.
Yeah,
Every time you bring this up, you always like the series finale, and I'm like,
that's what it is to me.
yeah, well, because the last 4 episodes made the final season of Corey Right Back at Ya, season 4, which is 76 through 101. That was like when they actually serialized the show, because they had that season 3 episode where Enemy was like, yeah, we're done, we're just going to destroy the planet, and then that didn't happen. But then you had all of season 4 is them getting away, because they leave Planet Popstar. Meta Knight shows off that he's been building the Hellboard this whole time. They go on the Hellboard. Fun fact, that was originally made for the anime. Then they put it in the games. So fun fact.
See, this is another example of freaking. There's not an official way to get that show.
For a long time. Recently, we do. It's now.
Really?
It is now on Amazon Video. Not
Oh.
the subscription, like you can buy it.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
I think it's Direct Video is the one that's the buy-in service, and then I think Prime Video is the subscription, but you can directly buy it. There's also, I don't know if it's out in America yet. It's going to be eventually. I know there's a physical Blu-ray set in Japan, and either it's already out or is soon to be out for America
For a long time.
Unless you bought like the old 4Kids releases that had like 5 episodes on each disc.
Yeah.
There was no way to watch. I also have watched it on YouTube.
I remember, so, and Gravity Falls wasn't too egregious because it was on Hulu, and they still played it on Disney Channel. It's not like you could never watch it, but for a while, there was no, box release of the entire show.
Yeah.
I remember, I showed you them at one point, you probably remember, I had, like, 2 DVDs that were, like
4 episodes.
yeah, I
or
think,
whatever.
I think combined they were, like, it was up to, like the second half of season 1, like the bottomless pit episode. I think that was the last episode on the disc set. So I've seen all of those Gravity Falls episodes like so much. But
see, as someone who had cable, I remember they play them so much on Disney XD. Even
just watching.
I bet we put on Disney XD right now, they're either showing Gravity Falls or they're gonna show it in like an hour or two.
Right.
They show but it's a much more popular show.
No, it is.
So that's what's like, and that, or you can watch it on demand. That's a show that was always fairly accessible. Maybe not with physical media, but via cable.
Going with that though, I am a little worried about DVDs. I don't think they're quite at the point where like big retailers are gonna drop them yet. But when you do walk in a Walmart, you walk in like, God, does Target even have DVDs?
Yes.
Oh, I guess they do have them.
It's a little kiosk now. It's not an
Yeah.
aisle. The book aisle at a lot of them has taken over the disc aisle.
Yeah.
And now they just have a little kiosk. Target really doesn't do it. It's really only Walmart. 'Cause Best
will
Buy
have
stopped
them.
doing it years ago.
Yeah, they did stop doing it.
Walmart, most Walmart disc aisles are almost as big as the gaming aisle.
And they're like always full. Like
they always have, and it's a mixture. And then honestly, it's a mixture of like C tier to like
we're
modern
gonna lose
stuff.
the Walmart bargain bin. No one's gonna know what that is.
Oh, that's
anymore.
never gonna no, because I still go to Walmart's and those things are overflowing with $5 DVDs. No, those things are
They're
going.
gonna be there till the end of time.
It's going to be like how Best Buy had like 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah, just all the DVDs.
They had it
that
like
go
on like
in.
in a little bin somewhere until people. What Best Buy normally bought more premium stuff, so that went away quicker.
Yeah.
But Walmart, no, that's going to be the fun. Unless they like, hey, these are all for $1, and that's probably what they'll do, clear out inventory.
Other places that have either secondhand or they just found it new DVDs that you can still buy. It's not like DVDs aren't gonna go away overnight.
If you go to Goodwill,
yeah, Goodwill at the very
most
least.
thrift stores have a butt ton. You buy them for like $1.
But you know, we're probably going to witness DVDs like completely falling out of style,
Oh yeah,
being away for a few years, and then coming back like for ridiculous prices.
I think you're gonna. I think you're gonna see DVDs are gonna become fully obsolete by like 2030. I'll say 2030,
Yeah,
2035.
I could believe that.
I think Blu-rays, but I think Blu-rays are gonna like. They've already replaced DVDs for a long time. I don't think you. I think you're no longer gonna see. They're like, oh, like for Sonic 3, you could buy just the DVD for like $10 or the Blu-ray for $15. And you see that like there's only one copy of the Blu-ray left, and then 10 copies of the DVD.
See, I remember when they used to include both.
Oh, my copy has both.
Oh,
No,
okay.
well, because now they have like they have like four versions. You can get the combo for like 25 to 20. Like they have the different
Right.
scales. Now my copy has both, and it also has the like Vimeo digital or movies anywhere
Oh
app.
yeah.
I
I should make a video on how stupid those are one day. Anyways.
but I think when you're gonna see them soon. Drop the DVD,
Mhm.
keep Blu-ray. I don't think you're ever going to see the disc format evolve past Blu-rays, at least not anytime
Probably.
soon.
There's not really like I feel like
For gaming, there's been some developments of a disc that might go beyond that, be more comparable to like the Switch cartridges.
mhm.
Of like I forget what it's called, but it's being made by Sony, and
Yeah.
it'll pretty much be a Blu-ray 2.0, but I forget what they're calling it. But that's like right now they're so expensive to manufacture, it's not feasible. I think eventually you're going to see it's going to leave these physical storefronts, but you can still go on Amazon and buy like Sonic 6 on Blu-ray. You'll
Mhm.
be able to buy them all the Disney movies on Blu-ray, and they might be more like $20, a bit more of a premium, but I don't think it's going to be like I
Exorbitant.
don't think it's going to be like 50, $60. Like I recently got the Hasbin Hotel vinyl, and that was $50, and it wasn't a
But that
special
was
edition or
50 that
anything.
was 50 brand new. I will say vinyls like I think modern day vinyls were like, oh, a band just likes to have their physical stuff and they released
Yeah,
vinyl. It will definitely be more expensive. Give it a few years or like if you're into older artists, you can find like I mean,
yeah,
I've found so many
like $20 or less.
I found a Frank Sinatra one with like three separate vinyls full of
Yeah.
songs for like
Granted,
$5.
I was at a thrift store.
Yes, but like
Talk about retail 20 less, but going to thrift stores, yard sales. Yeah.
it's still a big thing.
But in terms of, I don't think we're ever going to see Blu-ray get a place of vinyls all were brand new,
Yeah, no.
$50 unless they're like a
I
collector's edition kind
yeah,
of thing.
I feel like they probably will lean more into collector's edition sort of
Which
things.
I would like. I like that. Give me like again the Steven Universe $70. I think you can now get it for like 40. They did what they eventually do with a lot of this. So they make a cheaper version that's just in a thick plastic case instead of this
Hmm.
nice box.
Yeah.
And it's like $40, $50. And even that though is really nice to have. Just like man, here's all the episodes in one nice little box of $40. And I can see like more times it's more vanity. Okay, most people aren't going to want to buy the complete box set Steven Universe, but if you really want to, we'll have a few copies, $40, $50, and that is a bit more of a premium. But even then, like that has like each season has 2 discs, I believe, plus the movie, plus I believe there's like 14 discs in that.
Hmm.
You're talking about $5 like this disc roughly for that, which is a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah,
deal
that's not
when
bad.
you think about the amount of content. I know the Adventure Time one was like $100,
Yeah, well, it had
but
like
it had all 10 seasons, and so that and I think each season one or two of those seasons, I think seasons 5 and 6 are over 50 episodes.
hmm.
So you're talking about like over 20. I think it was like I think it promoted on the back box like 25 disc,
That's crazy.
and like for $100, like yeah, you're like you better like Adventure Time. You spend that much money.
It's the only thing you're watching,
Yeah,
little Timmy.
I do. I one day because they still sell that and it still I still see it go off the shelves and regularly get restocked. I do want to buy the complete box set for Adventure Time at some point.
Yeah.
I think that's where you're going to see a lot of this physical media go to is it's an investment, not a comedy.
Hmm.
You know, I think the commonplace is I think you're going to see more people lean into less streaming services and more these apps where you can rent movies, buy movies.
Hmm.
Because I think we're also getting near the streaming bubble's like the needle's on the
That's
streaming bubble. It's
that's
not
the
popped
thing
yet, but it's
too.
on the needle.
I don't hate streaming.
No,
I just think
it's just too many services.
now it's like every different company
Yeah.
has their own thing. But I think just having that as an option, I don't think is bad. I liked it when like I would say 50% of what I watched was streaming and 50 was physical because I also have a fairly big physical media collection. I just
Yeah.
don't really ever touch it anymore unless it's like it's kind of sad. I think one of the main things we've used it for in the past was the Peanuts Christmas special because like it
all on
going
Apple
on Apple
TV.
TV and I'm just like
They
no,
do
I
air
don't
it on
want to.
cable again now.
Yeah.
Apple after the backlash they got that first year, they were like, we'll put it on cable. Do I have a lot of physical media? No, but I see for me about 50-60% of the stuff I watch is on cable.
Yeah.
And you know, like a lot of new when shows come like when Common Side Effects came out on Adult Swim, I didn't watch it on Not HBO Max. HBO
Yeah.
Max. I watched it there.
Hmm.
Same with like the new Rick and Morty season. Same with other shows that come out. Stuff that's exclusive to streaming, like Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go on my way to get to it. But most shows, they push them as like streaming shows, and like for most part, I'm like I'm fine with that. I know like Phineas and Ferb, they put all the episodes out. They put all the episodes on Disney Channel first,
Hmm.
and then once they finish season
Airing.
5, I believe is the season that just came out.
Yeah.
Once they finished season 5, they did it like a week or two later, a batch release of season 5 on Disney Plus,
Hmm.
and I think that's
Yeah, I think that's
how a
good.
lot of them are.
If anything, I just hope that this push for more physical media, at the very least, not like, at least not making it go away. Like, not everyone has to adapt to it.
Yeah,
Not everyone can, because it's still, it's
we don't have Starlink everywhere still.
just the thought of like, oh, I can still watch this movie without an internet connection is like becoming more of a real thought and more crazy to me because I'm like, you don't need one to watch a movie, but if you're streaming, you do. But my point of that is, I hope streaming services get a lot better. I hope the competition of like, okay, let me justify you this cost better
I
buying.
feel like there needs to be like 5.
Yeah.
Like I think one like it needs to be the big companies that have a big enough library. Like I think HBO Max, if they get their crap together and stop throwing their stuff on like every platform, that could be a really good platform. It
Mhm.
was when it first came out, and then they started throwing their stuff on. Some of their stuff's on Peacock for some reason.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but like that one, Warner Bros has a library. Disney has a library. They're now pretty much merged with Hulu.
Yeah.
That has a library. Netflix has a library. And maybe like one other I forget what Roku's is called, but Roku's it's like I think it's called like Leto. It's some weird name, but that one it's $4.99 a month, and it's pretty much all your B C tier stuff.
Mhm.
And then I think there's space for like that and like maybe one other like cheaper one. But like there you go. And not every somewhat decent size Hollywood company has its own service. I'm sorry, we do not need Peacock.
Mhm.
I know there's other ones than Peacock I could whack on, but that's always the one where it's like it has The Office, it has The Paper now,
Has the FNAF movie.
has the it has the second one. The first one I believe is on. I just saw someone talk about this. The first one's not on Peacock right now. It's on a different service right now.
The first FNAF movie?
Or maybe it's the second one. One of them is not on Peacock
Oh
right
my
now. I know one of them. I think the first one got taken off of Peacock one time. The second one got bought on. One of them's not on there,
Right.
pretty much. And maybe they're both on there now. But for a good amount of time, one of them was not on Peacock. I think it was the first one, and they put on Netflix to kind of promote the second one. And I've seen companies do that. What was it? Warner Brothers put a bunch of the Superman movies on old ones on not Disney Plus, Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Just when they didn't put the new one on there, that went to HBO Max.
Yeah.
But a bunch of the other ones they just threw on Disney or Hulu. Because
Which by all of Hulu is
nowadays
on
it's
Disney
now
Plus.
Disney Plus. They also put a lot of them with YouTube Premium. A lot of people don't realize how many free movies and shows you get with YouTube Premium.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched a lot of the Superman movies on that. That was actually
Honestly,
really good.
you know what? And I think this will be my thing to like wrap up the thoughts. I actually really like buying movies on YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel like I already watch most of my content on YouTube anyways, but having it to where, as long as I'm connected to internet every 30 days, it saves to my account so I can watch it anywhere.
Yeah, you could download them.
I like that. I like the renting system in YouTube.
But-
It's just it's interesting.
Yeah, but I think
Anyways,
that wraps it up.
try something physical.
Buy a
media,
VHS player.
Yeah, buy a VHS player. I'm sure we're gonna get to the point where companies will just remake them.
There's a company finally remaking CRT TVs,
Yeah,
so you don't have to go find one that's only going to last you like 2 years.
right. So it's like, just give it a try. I mean, or if you do have a big physical media collection that you've kind of neglected, go through, find your favorite movie that you used to watch as a kid. Find your
favorite plastic box.
All Dogs Go to Heaven, the movie you watched a million times over and nearly wore out the discs.
I'll be honest, I've never seen that movie. So on the Hub Network, it would happen to be on. I watched like 5 minutes somewhere in the middle when I was a kid, and I was like, this movie sucks, and I've never watched it again.
We should watch it sometime.
It
But
was the dog was like on a dock.
yeah, that
And
was right before he dies.
yeah, I remember I watched that and I was like, this looks stupid. And then I changed it to probably SpongeBob. I don't know. I don't know what I did after that.
But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments what your favorite piece of physical media is. And on that note, we'll see you soon, Google Overlords. Take care. We'll see you guys in the next one. Let us know if there's anything you think we can do to improve, other topics you want us to know in the future, and we're on Spotify now, talking about big streaming platforms.
Yay.
You know, we're just as hypocritical as everyone. Like and subscribe.